What is up, guys? Back with another episode today of the Tech Tips. Haven't done an episode of Tech Tips in a little while. Today's episode will be, when should you upgrade your toolbox or your box? We're just going to hit a couple top points on this subject. I know a couple of you guys out there might be looking at a new box. We're not going to be talking about toolboxes specifically in this video, but this is just going to give you guys out there a little bit of an idea or a general idea, when should you upgrade your toolbox. Now, I myself have experienced this same problem before, actually twice before. When I first started out in turning any type of wrenches or at a shop, I've first started out with a little 3-stack Craftsman, decent box. It was kind of more of a hand-me-down box to me, from my dad. The second box I owned, I purchased myself. It was a used box. I needed something a little bit bigger, needed something a little bit more space. And my most recent purchase for this year, 2017, if you go on see my other videos, you'll see the Matco 4S toolbox tour. You'll see that. Go and check out that video. Make sure you leave a like, comment, whatever you want to do. But today's video, we're just going to give you a few ideas and points. What should you be looking for and what should be done? In this case, the number one thing that we always look for is space. As a technician, or even if you're not a technician, you want space. We all want space when it comes down to it. Space is the biggest thing, the reason why we always want to upgrade. Space, where it be you don't have enough drawers, or you're starting to accumulate a lot of tools, you're having to have a lot of overflow and stuff starting to stack on top of each other. Whatever the case is, we always want more space. We always want that bigger box, but can you always afford it? That's not what we're here talking about today, but I will kind of talk about that as well. Space is always the biggest thing when you're talking about any type of toolbox. If you're talking about big toolbox, small toolbox, whether you're just starting out or you've been in the business 10, 20, 40 plus years, whether you're starting out with like a little small service cart and you want to upgrade to something a little bit bigger. Now, again, like I said, space is always the number one thing when it comes to upgrading your toolbox. You say, oh, well, I've accumulated a good number of tools, so now I want to upgrade. The second thing goes back into space, organization. I myself, I like to keep my toolbox and stuff organized to where I can find it, and it makes it more efficient for me. Doesn't matter if you're a mechanic, you're doing it at home, no matter what you're doing. If you've got any type of toolbox, organization is key to being able to find your tools. Because when you can't find your tools and you're having to search around and spend a lot of time searching for your tools, you'll start saying, okay, well, stuff's starting to go missing, and you're just gonna be unorganized. I'm very big when it comes to organization on my tools. I like to know where everything's at. I like to have specific drawers for everything. My pliers, screwdrivers, all that stuff, wrenches, sockets, whatever the case is. I like to make sure everything is done right. Or at least for the most part, I think we all have a junk drawer in our toolbox at some point, where stuff just gets thrown in there, or we've just got, electrical wires and just miscellaneous crap in our drawers. We always have that one drawer in our toolbox at some point in time where we just kind of throw stuff in. The next thing I'm going to talk about is cost effectiveness. Now, what exactly do I mean by cost effectiveness? Is it costly for you to upgrade than it is to stay in your box for a little bit longer versus jumping up to a big box? Now, we all know you don't want to just rush into a huge box when you're starting out in the business of being a mechanic, technician, diesel work, whatever you're doing. You don't want to just rush into the big Snap-on or Matco or whatever box you get. You don't want to just rush into that. That's always the biggest no-no to do, because you're going to get yourself overhead. You're going to get yourself in debt. It's not a smart thing to do. Now, if you're just starting out and you say you have a service cart and you want to step up to, say, a little bit bigger service cart or maybe a little bit bigger box, maybe a double bay, or something like that, that's not a bad idea. Or maybe you want to get two service carts and run off that. I know plenty of people who do that. But you don't want to just run in and jump into anything in any type of decision when it comes to purchasing a toolbox, because we all know toolboxes are not cheap. But you want to make a smart decision, do a little bit of research, spend a little bit of time finding out which box is going to work for you in the long run, because you're going to have that toolbox for an extended period of time. So that's going to be like your extra home, or your home for all your tools. That's going to be your main hub center or central command center, or whatever you want to call it, for all your tools. You want to make sure you're going to be able to lock your tools efficiently and secure them away. And when you're not using them, make sure there's a nice, good, comfy place for your tools to sit. We all spend a good bit of money in tools. It doesn't matter if you spend cheap money on tools or big snap on money, whatever you want to do, that's fine. But you always want to have a good home for your tools. No matter across the board, it doesn't matter. Maneuverability, this kind of goes back into organization. This is my next point. As a technician or mechanic, this is very important. If anybody's out there is a mechanic or technician, or if you're aspiring to be one, it's very important that you have to be able to maneuver around your tools. Again, this kind of goes back into organization. If you can't maneuver around your toolbox and navigate properly, where you can just go straight to your toolbox and maneuver around it and say, okay, I know where my socket is, I know where this wrench is at, I know where this is, I can go straight to my toolbox and find exactly what I need. Now, if you're in a smaller box and you start running out of space and you're having to, okay, search for this and flip this over, that you're not able to move efficiently and maneuver around your toolbox. So that could be another point for you to look into, as far as space wise. Again, all these are going to coincide with each other of all these points. Now, no matter what you do, you always want to establish yourself in your box before you go moving up and stepping up to a bigger box. Now, when it comes to having a bigger box, you always want to make sure you establish yourself. Make sure you're building up enough tools to cover a wide area and range. If you own a service cart, or if you want to start out with a service cart, fill that sucker up until you can't fill it up anymore. Or if you don't feel comfortable filling it up anymore and you say, well, I got to stop buying tools, I need to start thinking about and pricing out and doing my research about, maybe in the future looking into buying a new toolbox or another cart or whatever you want to do, that's fine. But like myself, I did my research for probably a good year before I even stepped up to my current box. Now, I probably wouldn't have bought it as soon as I did if it wasn't for the deal that I received from my tool guy. But, if you can always get into a deal or something, working or something, I'm not really going to talk about toolboxes today, but this is just kind of some points that you might want to look at. If you are looking into upgrading your toolbox, you want to look at, your price point, your quality. Are you going to be able to hold your tools, or is it, be able to secure your tools properly and lock them up? Just different various points, whatever, suits you. You don't want to just rush into something and just go out and buy the cheapest toolbox or the most expensive toolbox. You want to find something that's going to work for you, because what works for you may not work for the next person or somebody else. You may like something that somebody else doesn't. So there's so many different points to hit here, but I just want to kind of give you guys out there a little bit of ideas and tips. If you're looking up to upgrading your toolbox or boxes, maybe you're looking to downsize. Maybe you have 2 service carts and you want to go into just one main toolbox. Or maybe you have 2 service carts and, you want to go into 3, or whatever the case is. Maybe you just want to grow. It doesn't matter. But this is just kind of give you guys out there a little bit of points to hit in your shopping list before making that big jump to stepping up into a bigger toolbox or another toolbox. I appreciate everybody, guys. All you guys out there for watching. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe. Make sure you hit a thumbs up on the video. Share, like, whatever you want to do. Appreciate everybody, guys, subscribing. Thanks again. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Till next time, guys, keep on turning wrenches.